The story begins with Reed Richards and his wife, Sue Storm, who has just found out she is pregnant. This brings them immense joy, as they had been trying for a long time and had almost given up. However, Reed starts worrying whether their baby might also have special powers like them. We learn that 4 years ago, Reed, Sue, Reed's best friend Ben, and Sue's brother Johnny went on a space mission, where their ship was hit by a cosmic storm that changed their bodies and gave them superpowers. Ben's body became like rock, Johnny could turn into fire and was called the Human Torch, Reed's body became stretchable like rubber, and Sue could turn invisible and create force fields. They formed a team called the Fantastic Four that saved the world from many threats. Reed, a brilliant scientist, continued his research, while Sue worked politically with world leaders, even making peace with Harvey, the leader of the underground world. The whole world loved the Fantastic Four. While Johnny and Ben were waiting for Reed and Sue, who were late for their first Sunday dinner ever, Ben saw their faces and instantly realized Sue was pregnant. Everyone celebrated, and the news was shared with the world. Their home was baby-proofed, while everyone wondered if the baby would have powers too. Reed was researching this while also working on teleportation and receiving strange new transmissions from space. He managed to teleport an egg, though it used a lot of energy. Johnny started listening to the space transmissions, which were in a different language. Meanwhile, Sue saw their robot, Herbie, building a crib and told Reed he should be the one making it. Reed explained he had designed it to test if the baby was normal or not, which frustrated Sue. She felt they had done enough tests and partially turned invisible to show Reed their baby, who looked completely normal. At the same time, Reed was getting petty criminals arrested and trying to baby-proof the whole world. Suddenly, someone came from space, and Johnny saw it was a woman, the Silver Surfer, who appeared in Times Square and asked the Fantastic Four if they were the protectors of this planet. When Sue said yes, the Silver Surfer warned that their planet would soon be destroyed and consumed by Galactus, so they should enjoy the days they had left. Johnny chased after her, grabbing her board as she spoke to him in another language before flying away. Reed dove into his research and found that many planets in space had already been destroyed, and the Silver Surfer had been to all of them. Reed said they needed to reach Galactus before he arrived, while Johnny said the girl had spoken kindly to him and looked right into his face, making it clear to everyone that Johnny had started to like her. He told Sue that one of the transmissions from space matched the language spoken by the Silver Surfer. After that, Reed shows Johnny their new suits, which allow him to stay in Human Torch form in space for a short time. The Fantastic Four once again head toward space, traveling rapidly using high-tech technology as they follow the Silver Surfer's heat signals. They reach a planet that begins to get destroyed right in front of their eyes. Sue makes their ship invisible as they move closer and watch the planet get completely wiped out. But Galactus sees them too and pulls their ship toward his own. The Silver Surfer enters their ship, saying that Galactus wants to meet them and that they should not have come. Still, the Fantastic Four follow her toward Galactus. Johnny asks her what she said to him that day, and she replies that it was a blessing to die with your loved ones. They finally face Galactus, a massive cosmic entity that consumes planets to satisfy his hunger. The Fantastic Four are stunned as Galactus asks if they came all this way to beg. Reed replies that they came to talk. Galactus says he will spare their world, but in exchange, he wants their child, whom he claims is an extremely powerful being that can take his place and set him free. Reed insists the baby is normal, so Galactus uses his powers, causing Sue pain as the baby is about to be born. Johnny attacks Galactus while the team tries to escape. Even though Johnny can't stay in Human Torch form in space for long, Sue uses her powers to blast the Silver Surfer away as they somehow reach their ship, but the Surfer chases them and even gets close to the baby before they flee again. Sue tells Johnny to kill her because she's after your nephew, so Johnny fires a beam at the Silver Surfer, who keeps dodging. Then Reed programs black hole coordinates into the spaceship, and they arrive near a black hole. Reed said they needed to get closer to the black hole so that the Silver Surfer would follow, which was extremely risky. He asked Sue to make their ship invisible, and she did. Half of their ship exploded right in front of the Surfer near the black hole, and she got pulled into it while the Fantastic Four escaped from the side. Right there in space, Sue gave birth to their son, whom they named Franklin. The Fantastic Four returned to Earth with their new family member, where everyone was overjoyed. But when the media asked Reed how they defeated Galactus, he replied, "We didn't." He explained that they had tried to talk to Galactus, but Galactus demanded their child in exchange for sparing Earth. They refused. Galactus insisted he needed the child because he contained infinite power. Reed and the team didn't know what to do. Galactus was stronger than they could imagine, and for the first time, Reed had no solution. That terrified him. Then Johnny showed Sue a recording of the Silver Surfer's conversation and said he now understood one line, which meant he could begin decoding the rest of the message. Meanwhile, Earth was in a state of panic. People began to turn against the Fantastic Four, asking why they wouldn't just give up the child. Crowds even gathered in protest outside their building. Reed admitted the people were right to be angry because they had no plan. Sue became furious with him and comforted baby Franklin, who was crying. She told Reed she knew what he was thinking. But Reed replied, "No, I will never give my son to Galactus. My job is to think of the worst so I can find a solution. And I will fix everything." Then Sue stepped out in front of the crowd with Franklin in her arms and introduced him. She said, "This is my son, Franklin." She shared that her mother used to say, "Sue, I would move heaven and earth for you," and added, "That's what I'll do for my child." She declared that she wouldn't sacrifice her baby for the planet, nor the planet for her baby, and that they would fight together, as a family. From Sue's powerful speech about moving heaven and earth, Reed got an idea. He said they would move Earth itself to a place where Galactus could never reach it. Just like he had teleported the egg before, he now planned to move the entire planet so far away that Galactus wouldn't be able to find it for millions of years. To do this, they began building massive towers all over the planet, designed to generate the energy needed for teleportation. But the energy required was enormous, leading to global lockdowns to conserve power. During this time, Reed spoke to baby Franklin, telling him that he didn't know anything about him and wouldn't try to force answers. He would let Franklin show him who he truly was. Meanwhile, Johnny kept working on decoding the Silver Surfer's language. Finally, the day came to move Earth. They activated all the towers, and the countdown began. But just then, the Silver Surfer appeared and started destroying the towers one by one, completely ruining their mission. Johnny confronted her and played recordings of the transmissions in her language across the globe. These messages revealed her true name, Shala Bal, and told the story of how she came from a planet of scientists that was attacked by Galactus. She had agreed to serve him in exchange for sparing her world. While her people thanked her in those recordings, the messages from all the other destroyed planets were nothing but screams of pain. Shala Bal couldn't bear to hear them and flew away in anguish. Johnny followed her and said, "This is my planet, and I'll protect it like you protected yours," offering himself instead of Franklin. But Shala Bal said that wasn't possible and urged him to take the baby and run. Since moving Earth was no longer an option, Reed came up with a new idea: bring Galactus to Times Square and teleport him to a place so distant he could never return. To do this, they would need to trap him between the towers for exactly 37 seconds. When Ben asked how they were going to lure Galactus there, Sue realized what Reed was thinking. He wanted to use Franklin as bait. Everyone immediately objected, saying this was a terrible plan. Reed says this is the only plan they have, so they begin preparing. They realize the entire area must be evacuated. Sue convinces the underground world's leader, Harvey, also known as Mole Man, to shelter surface dwellers temporarily, because the whole Earth is in danger. Slowly, people start moving underground as Galactus approaches. Reed and Sue place Franklin at the center of Times Square to bait Galactus. The cosmic entity lands in New York, even smelling the soil before scanning the area and locating Franklin. He begins walking through the streets toward Times Square. Johnny attacks Galactus's eyes to distract him and quickly moves Franklin back home. Reed prepares to activate the teleportation device, but Galactus refuses to step between the towers. Instead, he moves toward the Fantastic Four's building, where he had seen Franklin. The team tries to stop him, but nothing works. Galactus throws Ben into space, slams Sue's car aside, and grabs Reed like a bug, stretching him until his suit tears and he screams in pain. Just in time, Johnny and Ben return and save Reed, but Galactus manages to pick up Franklin. Seeing her son in Galactus's grasp, Sue pushes herself beyond her power limits to save him. She drags Galactus toward Times Square as Reed pleads with her to stop, but she yells, "Save my son." Blinded by fear and love, Ben smashes a building to throw Galactus off balance. Johnny activates the teleportation machine, giving Reed the chance to grab Franklin. Sue gives it everything she has, nearly dying in the process. But Galactus still doesn't teleport. Johnny prepares to sacrifice himself, until Shala Bal arrives. She pushes Galactus into the portal, teleporting herself along with him. The team rushes to Sue, who has collapsed. She isn't breathing. Reed tries to revive her with CPR, but nothing works. Ben quietly tells him, "Stop, it's no use." Franklin starts crying. Reed places the baby on Sue's chest, when, suddenly, they witness Franklin's powers for the first time. A radiant energy flows from him. Sue begins to move. Her breathing returns. Franklin starts clapping joyfully. Sue is alive. The story ends on a joyful note, with the family reunited and Earth safe once more. But in the mid-credit scene, set 4 years later, while Sue is reading a book to Franklin, a shadow steps into the light. Dr. Doom appears, and the story takes a new turn.